Let's turn our attention to the Guptas now. The Ahmed Kathrada Foundation are going to be holding a picket outside the UAE Embassy tomorrow. It's calling for the extradition of the Guptas to be finalised. The National Prosecuting Authority has approached Interpol to arrest two of the Gupta brothers and their associates. So the Foundation's Executive Director, Neeshan Balton, joining us now here on ENCA. Neeshan, good day to you, and it's a pleasure speaking to you. Help me understand why you're calling for the extradition to be finalised. There is the expectation that there will be a result, but are you asking for it to be sooner, or are you asking for it to actually come through and have the Gupta brothers come back?
Well, what we're really asking for is for both the UAE and the South African government to make sure that all the necessary paperwork is in order to ensure that this extradition request is effected and that the Guptas and all of the associates are brought from Dubai to come and account for all of the charges that they have to face in this country. And we do this because we were in discussion with the ambassador of the UAE, who said to us that the problem is not in the UAE but on the South African side, where some paperwork had not been signed for a couple of years. And we hope that all of those issues have now been addressed. However, it will require the cooperation of the UAE government and all of the agencies to ensure that when all of that paperwork is done, that the Guptas don't use any other loopholes to extend their stay in Dubai.
And what are you expecting when picketing outside the embassy of the UAE? Are you hoping to hand over a memorandum of demands, or is this simply a case of being visible and making your voice heard on what is a very serious issue for the country?
There will be a memorandum handed over to the ambassador or his representative, one indicating what it is that we want from them with regards to the Guptas, which is first and foremost that they need to ensure that the requests from the South Africans are adhered to, and all of the necessary legal work on their side is effected. Mm-hmm. And as soon as possible, the Guptas are put onto a plane and brought back to this country. And when they arrive here, we hope that the NPA and the police will do what is required now that they have been formally charged in the case in the Free State at this point in time.
Do you believe that the situation is now being taken more seriously and has been escalated since the NPA had asked Interpol to now get involved? Do you now have more faith that this is actually going to happen and we are going to see the Guptas back on our soil?
I certainly want to believe that. I think the denial of bail to Iqbal Sharma was perhaps the clearest indication of the determination of the NPA to want to get this case bedded down and bringing these culprits to book and possibly with the most severe penalties possible. The damage that they have done to this country, I think we are still yet to understand the full extent of it, although much of it has come through the Zondo Commission. But I think the general public doesn't have the kind of full comprehensive sense of all that they have been involved in and the extent of their damage. And that's really what I think we would want to see coming out of their trial and the kind of sentence, hopefully, that they will then, it will result in.
And just a final question to you before I say goodbye. As far as the locals, the South Africans who've been involved in this scandal, whether it's been associates or people appearing at press briefings with the Gupta brothers and their families, what are you hoping for as far as locals involved in this and some kind of retribution for what they've done?
Well, you know, I mean, if you look at this party that the Sharmas hosted 2 or 3 weeks ago, and you look at the kind of people who frequented their home, surely they would have known by now that social ostracization of all of the people associated with the Guptas and the Guptas themselves needs to be a basic from South African citizens today. And I think that's the kind of work that we will begin to look at where it is possible from places of worship and other kinds of places that their kind of hero status is one that is eradicated. And all of their associates in this country who have charges to answer for, I hope will join them in the docks and possibly in jail when the time comes.
I'm sure many people will agree with you as far as jail time is concerned. Neeshan Balton, thank you very much indeed. It's always a pleasure speaking to you, Executive Director of the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation, joining us here on Newslink.